Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Man City versus Arsenal, a Premier League shootout. We've got a big show coming for you today. Before we get into it, though, I want to let you know that City versus Arsenal, the biggest game of the season, is exclusively live on BT Sport 1, Wednesday, the 26th of April from 7 p.m. It's game on for the title. If City win at the Etihad, is it game over for Arsenal's title hopes? Or if Arsenal win, is it game over for City? You can find out, guys, by watching the biggest game of the season exclusively live on BT Sport 1. And there is more details in the description. Robbie, Turkish, thank you for joining us, man. This is a big show for a big game. Robbie, let me come to you first. You're the visitors to the Etihad. You've got a terrible record against City in the Premier League over I think it's like the last 7 years. It really is shocking. For you, as an Arsenal fan, you try to rally the troops here. What are Arsenal going to do differently in this game to try and get a result at the Etihad?
Who was to go first?
You're taking a long time to respond there, Robbie, bro.
No, I didn't know you was coming to me first. I think what we got. I think there's a couple of things. Number one, we're coming up there for the first time in a very long time, and I said this before the Liverpool game when we played them, because that's another place where we've got horrendous records. That this is the best team we've got coming up there for a very long time. Usually when I'm going up to the Etihad, I'm just sort of resigned to the fact that, you know, you've got a team that is 10 times better than us and we need something to go in our favour. Whereas this time, we're coming up with a very good team that's been playing really well this season, especially away from home, actually. And so that gives us confidence that we can come up there and get a result. So I'd be saying that, you know, we come up, we've got to try and defend better than we have in the last few games. But if we're positive in the game, I feel that we can cause Man City a lot of problems and we could get a win. So that's the positive attitude that I'd be coming up with.
Turkish, Saliba looks like he's out for the game. This is obviously terrible news, really, for Arsenal, isn't it? How much do you reckon that's going to impact Arsenal? And you know, I've heard a lot of debate. I've obviously seen a lot of Arsenal fans on social media talking about what Arsenal should do. There's obviously different options. You could maybe play Tierney right back and put Ben White into centre back. How much do you think Saliba being out is going to impact it? And what would you do if you're Arteta in his situation?
Listen, we've already seen the impact of Saliba being out against Liverpool, West Ham, and Southampton. And this is Manchester City, so it's going to have a massive impact, in my opinion, because we're coming up against probably the best pressers in the league. You know, I know over the years Liverpool have staked the claim for that too, but I think if you look at the Manchester City's trip to the Emirates and how you won that game, it was pressing, not allowing us to get up the pitch, and that's where a couple of your goals came from. So I think it's going to have a big impact because on the ball, Saliba is so much better than Rob Holding. And that's just on the ball. I think the same can be said off the ball too. But in order for us to get something against City, especially at the Etihad, we're going to have to play at the back, well. We're going to have to be fluid. We're going to have to be quick in the transition. We're going to have to break the lines confidently. And not having Saliba there does have a big impact on that. And the numbers don't lie. I mean, our XG with Saliba and our XG without Saliba and with Rob Holding there, there's a massive difference in that. And that kind of shows you how important a centre-back is to the build-up play. I mean, you lot know all about that. I think at Arsenal, it's become somewhat of a new thing with Mikel Arteta coming in, a modern-day manager, modern-day systems. So we're seeing the importance of centre-backs that can play on the ball and play out the back confident, efficiently. And not having Saliba there, it makes me much more nervous than I would be even with him there, because even with Saliba there, even with a fully fit squad, this is the Etihad, this is Manchester City, and the biggest game of the season, yes. I just feel like I would have liked to go into this game with a few more lives. If you're playing a games console, whether it's Mario, whether it's Zelda, or whatever games are out there, you want to go to the final boss with at least 3 lives under your belt. We're coming to the with 1 life left, and I feel like it's all or nothing now. We've got to go for it. We've got to go for it, and I know we're going to get into it more, but not having Saliba there is a massive.
Do you think he'll just run Holding at centre back? Because I've seen Arsenal fans debating maybe moving Ben White into centre back and putting Tierney as a right back, but then you're sort of disrupting even more stuff going forward. Do you think is that how he'll run it, or do you reckon what do you reckon he's going to do?
Personally, I think he'll stick with what he's been doing, which is Rob Holding playing as a centre back. Rob Holding played the first half of the FA Cup game when we played as a centre back, and he actually did all right, but he did pick up a yellow card up against Haaland pretty quickly, and that's why I think we took him off at half time. So I don't think he'll, because the problem we've got, even when you talk about the possibility of moving Ben White back into the centre-back position, is that we don't really have an established right back because he's injured as well. You know what I mean? Tomiyasu could have went into that position. I think if Tomiyasu was fit, you can even put him into the centre-back position. He's played there a lot of times before he came to Arsenal. But without him missing, the only person we could really put a right back would be Raul Walters, who's a youngster from the academy. He's not actually played yet in the first team. I don't see Mikel Arteta risking that in such a massive game. So I think it will be what we've been playing so far, which is a back four of, Rob Holding, Gabriel, Ben White and Zinchenko, and maybe just some more emphasis on those guys fulfilling their defensive duties.
Hugh, obviously Haaland, 32 goals in the Premier League this season, 48 all competitions. He needs one more goal to break Mohamed Salah's record. Is that going to happen on Wednesday night, bro?
You'd have to back it, wouldn't you? I mean, it's not so long ago I was telling Turkish that I think Haaland could be one of the most exciting signings in Premier League history. And I mean, coming in and scoring all those goals, he's getting pretty close to it. It's pretty exciting stuff. But I kind of wanted to ask the lads, and I'll give my thoughts first on the Holding versus Haaland prospect. I think it's very exciting for us. I fancy him more now that I feel, or that it looks like Holding's going to play and he's chasing that record. I've seen mixed kind of reactions to the last time they faced each other. Obviously in the Etihad in that FA Cup game, I personally felt that Haaland bullied Holding. I think Haaland bullied him off the pitch. He got that yellow card. He was hooked at half time, and I think Haaland will be licking his lips at this one, saying this is the perfect opportunity for me to break that record. So maybe I can get some Arsenal thoughts. Maybe you, Turkish, your feelings, because I do want to give Holding credit. I don't think he's been at fault for you guys dropping points in recent weeks. Rob Holding can't legislate for Saka missing penalties, or Odegaard going quiet, or Partey going quiet. So how do you feel about that one?
Not good. I mean, it feels like it's all set up for Haaland to break the record, City to get the win, and kind of the title race to be over. He gets the new record in the Premier League. Reason being, look at the Emirates trip. Leading up to that game, we was 8 points clear. We lost against Everton. We drew against Brentford. That cut it down to 3 points. And it just felt like at the Emirates, City will probably get the win. I was confident that Arsenal could do something. I predicted that Arsenal would win. But when you see how it turned out, that win put you above us in the league on goal difference. Coming up to this game, it's similar circumstances. We had a healthy gap. Like I mentioned, it was like 3 lives in the back pocket. A draw against Liverpool, a draw against West Ham, and a draw against Southampton. Puts it in a position where, okay, if City beat us, you don't go top of the league. But what it does is you go 2 points behind with 2 games in hand. And it's hard to see past, City winning the league from that position. And with Haaland equaling the record in his last game in the Premier League, it just feels like it's written in the stars that City get the win and Haaland gets the record. That's just my general feeling. I don't know how Robbie feels. Obviously, Robbie might be positive on that, but Rob, what do you think? It does feel like it's come to a point where Haaland will get the record against us, and City will probably get the win.
Listen, Haaland's been a machine this season, hasn't he? He's been exceptional. I think a lot of us forget it's his first season as well. So what's he going to do next year? So he's been amazing. He's at home. He's been scoring for fun as well. But the one thing I would say is that this Arsenal team this year, even though you don't see evidence of it over the last couple of games because we've dropped points, but they've shown a lot of character and they've shown a lot of resilience. And, there's situations this season where, like, for instance, when we lost to Manchester City, we then went on an excellent run after that and got ourselves back into a really good position. We've responded well to adversity, and this is one of those situations. And I feel that, and I've been sort of saying this for the last few days. I don't know if I'm deluding myself or whatever, but sometimes in life you need all these plan Bs removed. You know what I mean? You a lot of times when you go into games and you're like, well, we don't necessarily have to win this one, and you know, when to me these games are cup finals. These are must-win games, right? So I want us to go into these games like how you go into a cup final. You don't go into a cup final thinking, well, you know, we've got 2 games in hand, or you know, we've got points on. You go into that saying, right, we have to win this game to lift the trophy. I want Arsenal to approach that game like this. No more plan Bs, no more backup plans. We have to go there, and if we want to become champions, we have to try and wrestle that away from the champions, who are Man City. So this is the games that we as fans have been craving for. You know, we you know, this is a club that was used to winning titles, if not winning titles, always in the title battle year in, year out. And we haven't been in it for a very long time. And we're showing a bit of our inexperience, I guess, over the last couple of games. But it's not over yet. And if we're going to win a title, maybe this is what it takes. It takes us to go to Manchester City and make a statement and say, you know, and I think this team, they've been good on the road. You know, even the last couple of games we've you know, on the roads, they're not the easiest games to go away to Anfield. You know what I mean? To even to go away to West Ham's not always the, you know, it's a London derby. Yes, the annoying thing about those games is that we started them brilliantly and we should have just seen it out. Now, can we go up to the Etihad and also get off to a great start? Can we go up to the Etihad and also, you know what I mean, push Manchester City and get a win? You know, so I want us to treat it like a cup final, treat it like it's all on this game, and see where it takes us. And the funny thing is, I don't think it is all on this game. I think really, if City win, clear advantage. You know, you can't say anything more than a clear advantage to Man City. But I think if it's a draw, or even if Arsenal win, it's still open, because there's still quite a few games to be played. Mm-hmm. But
that's where I'm at.
I think the win would be more important for us, just to sort of say that, you know, we've gone to a place that we haven't won for a long time, and we've made a statement. The belief that would give this team after the last few games, when belief has sort of, you know, sapped away a bit, would be incredible.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, because I think if City win the game, I think I'd be very surprised if City don't go on and win the title. Not, you know, we'd be 2 points behind with 2 games in hand. We've got the easier fixtures. That should be it, you know. But I think if Arsenal win, you guys have still got to go to St James's Park. You know, that's difficult. You still got to play Brighton. And remember, if City win the rest of the games for the season, we only need you to drop points in 1. So obviously, Arsenal could do with the win. They could do with and I think the psychological boost that would give the players, especially going to St James's Park, which I think is the weekend or next week or something. That's so huge. But yeah, I think if City win, because you said there, you think Arsenal need to come to City. So are you conceding the title? Both it's open to you as well, Turkish. You conceding the title if City win on Wednesday. Is it time to accept that City are champions?
I've kind of accepted that after the Southampton result. I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, how can you do that? You know, we've still got a massive chance," and we do still have a massive chance. It's just the way the chips have fallen. It just feels like we've dropped points at a time where we couldn't afford to drop points. And coming into this game, it feels like it will be game over. You know, as much as I feel like the title's conceded after that Southampton draw, I feel like it will officially be game over if Manchester City get the win. Because as much as there's a 5-point gap now, I don't see it like that. In my head, it's Man City are a point above us. You're a point above us, because, you know, until the games are played, we won't really know. But I might as well look at it like that, then look at it glass half full, saying, well, it's a 5-point gap. Realistically, City will probably win both of their games, at least one of them. You don't really see City dropping points in either, if I'm honest with you. So I'm looking at it as we'll go into the Etihad 1 point behind the defending champions, the best team in the Premier League over the last 5-6 years. And we have to get the job done. I just don't know how we're going to get the job done there. Recent history doesn't bode well for us at the Etihad.
I'm a bit different.
I really like
different. Sorry.
So I was going to say, I really like the analogy, the video game analogy you used, Turkish, about having extra lives going into this game. And I must admit, I didn't expect it to be this tight going into this game. I did think you would have a bit more of a gap going into this. And I think we do have to touch in on the recent form of Arsenal going into this. I don't know how you felt about the one game a week thing, leaving Europa League and FA Cup and focusing on Premier League. And then you go and drop points to Liverpool, West Ham and Southampton. I mean, I spoke a lot with Arsenal fans off the back of the last international break about identifying games that you say, if we win them, we'll win the league from an Arsenal perspective. Those, particularly West Ham and Southampton, they were not games that we identified as, potential banana skins. I thought Arsenal, to give them credit for their form all season, they were kind of formalities, certain wins. Maybe not so much West Ham, but Southampton for sure. So, I mean, what do you put down the recent dropping of points to?
The easy answer is pressure, but I think you can look at moments in the last 3 games and say pressure is the reason why this team has kind of crumbled in certain games, dropped points from 2 goals up a couple of times, conceded a goal in the first minute against Southampton. All of these indicate that pressure is getting to what is a very young team, a team that is not only young, but this is their first rodeo in a title race. But I also look at moments in those 3 fixtures, like going 2-0 up and dominating in the first 35-40 against Liverpool, like going 2-0 up against West Ham in a London derby in the first 10 minutes, and the last 5-10 minutes of the Southampton game, where at 3-1 down, we managed to claw it back to 3-3. And those moments don't indicate that pressure's getting to us. Those moments, show fight, heart, spirit, determination, all of the things that you need in a title race. So it's hard to put it all down to pressure getting to us. I think there's a bit of complacency there, like the Ramsdale pass that cost us the first goal against Southampton. I think that was complacent, a bit of overconfidence maybe. I think the way we kind of took our foot off the gas against Liverpool, essentially doing similar against West Ham, having gone 2-0 up. I think that's a job done mentality that cost us in the end, because once the momentum swings in the game, it's very, very difficult to get it back. We can talk about subs all day long, and we have done about Arteta and some of the subs he's made. But to get momentum in a game back, especially away from home against West Ham in the London derby or at Anfield, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to do once you've conceded so much of that momentum to the opposition. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, Hugh. There's moments where I say the pressure's getting to them, but there's moments where I'm saying these men don't seem like they're under pressure. They're playing freely.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of inexperience, LB. We were saying this, weren't we? The weekend that they dropped points to West Ham and we beat Leicester 3-1, the difference between sides that weekend was we went to 3-0 before we started taking players off and took the foot off the gas a little bit. Now, I know Leicester had chances and they could have brought it back, but we still had that extra goal cushion. They say 2-0, it's a dangerous lead, and that was not the time for Arsenal to take the foot off the gas, essentially.
Yeah.
Just going back to my point where I say, sometimes too many plan Bs and too many, what do you say? Too many lives and all them thing. My example of that is when we lost to you guys. When we lost to you guys, now you've clawed it back. You're now top. Everybody was sort of assuming it's over. It's done. You know what I mean? City now is just going to go on and romp it. And we then, after that, had to win games. We had no choice. Couldn't go to certain places and draw. We had to be positive and we had to go on and win games. And we won 7 on the bounce. And actually, even though, I'm really disappointed with the last 3 results, we have showed a lot of fight. And I think how Mikel Arteta's got to look on it and say, these things can happen. I've seen you guys even have these sort of periods this season. Like, remember, immediately after you beat us, you went and drew with Nottingham Forest, right? You know what I mean? In a game that you should have won. You were very fortunate with a very fortunate penalty against Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? So these things, I think Arteta has to kind of get through to the players and say, listen, these are title run. These things happen. You can have these, because we all fall into the trap as fans, where we're looking at the list of games coming up, and we're like, Southampton, tick, this one, tick. Oh, we got to go away to Newcastle. I don't know. All right, draw that. Right, just based off of what's happening today and the form that teams are in. But we know it don't go like that. It doesn't always work like that. There could be still points to be dropped. Even after this game, it ain't completely over. We don't know. Manchester City got a lot of games between now and the end of the season. A lot of high-pressure games. You know what I mean? Sandwich in between some of these games, you've got to go and play Premier League games when you've got the back-to-back against Real Madrid, which is going to be a really tough ask for you guys as well. What will that take out of you? Could somebody pick up a little injury? We don't know yet. As we stand now and we look at it, we say the team that's on fire, the team that's on form is Man City, and logic tells us it's just if they beat us, they cruise to the title. I don't think it works like that. I only really remember one season in recent years when you guys just cruised it. Most of the others, there's always a little jeopardy in it.
It's normally very close. To finish up then, guys, this might be a bit of a pointless exercise, given we've got 2 City fans and 2 Arsenal fans. But, Robbie, I'll start with you. Wednesday night, City win, draw, or an Arsenal victory? What we're seeing?
I'm going to go positive, man, because we have to win, right? I know, everyone's saying I'm being delusional at the moment, but I think this is if you're going to win titles, man, we have to come and take it from you. We have to come and be positive. We can't go out there scared. We know how good Man City are. We know they're not the champions for a reason. They are the champions because they've been the best team. And this year, it's the 2 best teams coming up against each other. Now's the time. We want the title. We got to prove we're the best. So I'll go positive. I'll go for a win. Arsenal win.
Turkish.
What Robbie
Negative.
said. What Robbie said.
There's no belief in how he said it.
Yeah, listen, I can't see past a City win, if I'm honest. I think even taking a draw, I'd shake your hand for a draw now. People said, would you take a draw at Anfield? And I said no, because I was confident we can get something there. Against City, I'd shake your hand for a draw now because it still keeps us in it. Like Robbie said, you've got difficult games to come. I can't see past a City win. The only difference is in years gone by, at this point, whether it's top 4, whether it's a title race, whether it's trying to get into a European place, setbacks like this, the pessimistic side of me completely takes over. I think it's done. That's it. No one can talk me round to that. Quite emotional about it. This time round, I do think it's done. I do think City are favourites, and I do think City will win the game. But there's a voice in the back of my mind. I mentioned it on Forever Arsenal that's saying, "Come on, Turkish, 2-2 draw. Come on, a 2-1 win." So what Arsenal have done this season is bring out the more optimistic side of me. I'm still going with a City win, but what Robbie said.
Fairs, Hugh.
Yeah, I can't look past a City win. I think record-breaking Haaland is set to steal the headlines Thursday morning. I think we've improved as well since we last played them in the Emirates. So I'm feeling confident. We're 15 unbeaten. Like, I've no reason to not feel confident. They've drawn their last 3 games. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just talking the facts. We've no reason to not feel like we shouldn't beat them on Wednesday night. I've said to Turkish in the Big Six all season, I've given nothing but credit to Arsenal for how well they've played this season and how much they deserve to be where they were and the praise they got. But currently, based on form and the way how hungry we look right now, I can't look past a City win. So we're not doing score predictions, are we? Just saying everything will win.
Yeah, just City win. That's enough. That's enough. I don't care what score it is. City win. Yeah, I'm going to go for a City win as well, for exactly the same reasons as you. Mint form, we're at home, we're experienced in these games, and I think in the end, experience is what will win us the game, and maybe what will win us the league title. Lads, thank you very much for coming on. Guys, make sure actually go and check a video that me and Robbie did on AFTV. Robbie came down to the Etihad Stadium, gave him a little tour of the stadium, do you know what I mean? And had a really good conversation actually about the game and what's ahead in store on Wednesday night. I remember...
He tried to scare me.
I did try to scare him, yeah. He's still coming up though, so it's not worked. Remember as well, guys, you can catch this game live exclusively on BT Sport 1. Details in the description. And guys, we'll see you in the next one. See you later.